The fourth highest paid Laker on the roster, placed with quite the high expectations heading into this season. Talen Horton-Tucker will finally be making his season debut. After missing the first 13 games due to a thumb injury he suffered in the preseason that required surgery, THT is a difference maker on both sides of the ball and is a key piece to the puzzle as the Lakers look to build despite the injuries in the early season. What are his goals? How is he feeling? Earlier, he spoke with Mike.
Talen, big day for you. You have not played in a game since June 3rd. How excited are you right now to get back to the court?
I'm just excited, man. Ready to get out there with my teammates to compete. It's been a minute, so, I'm ready to get out there.
Yeah, you had some good momentum during the offseason. You signed the big contract, and then you injure your thumb. How tough was that for you?
I just try to stay positive throughout the whole situation. I look at everything as like a gift in disguise almost. So just being able to be out just helped me, look at the game and, kind of break it down a little bit more.
You're already making some news. Frank revealed at his pregame press conference with reporters you're going to be in the starting lineup. What are you hoping to bring to this team out there? Just
my energy, try and use my youth to come out there and make plays. Just try to help the team in every way as possible. So I'm just going out there to be, myself.
Now, you've been on the sideline, obviously, watching a lot of the games. What are some of your interpretations of why there have been some struggles out there for your teammates?
I feel like, just trying to, get everybody in on the same page. And, with the new group coming in is always going to be, hard to start off the year. So just being able to get the, the little rinks and kinkles out, early in the season is going to be good for us.
Yeah, entirely new team, for sure. Is that part of why there's been troubles in the third quarters, you think?
Maybe. I just, we looked over the third quarter yesterday, so just being able to, look at it and then see what we did wrong, something that we, have to capitalize on. So.
All right, so you're out there starting. So I'm guessing there's no limit, no minutes restriction or anything like that. You're 100%?
Yeah, I feel 100%. I'm just ready to get out there and compete.
All right, last one for you. We're going to find out what kind of a guy you are here. Would you rather hit a big three towards the end of the game or make a big defensive stop?
Big defensive stop.
How come?
I feel like I've hit a three before. I haven't got a really big defensive stop yet, so I want to do that. All
right. Talen Horton-Tucker, now we know why Frank Vogel said that he will indeed be part of this big defensive perimeter action. That's why you got the start today. Thanks for your time.
Thanks so much, guys. Check out these numbers. They do not lie. Braun is such a critical piece. We know that to this puzzle. The points, off turnovers, offensive rating, pretty much telling the story. Big game. Without LeBron James, what's the key to getting the job done?
The key is to, do what you do a little bit better. Don't try to do too much. I think a lot of times when a key player's out, guys think they need to shoot more. They're going to get more opportunities. They need to do more. Just do what you do and take care of the little things, like can't turn the ball over. You can't give up offensive rebounds. You can't get dominated in the paint. You can't have third quarters like they did in the last game. You have to really be in touch with those things because with LeBron, he's so good at knowing how to reboot and get things back into order. I also like Rondo on the floor a little bit more when LeBron is not around. He seems to be able to stabilize a little bit more, but you limit the mistakes and defense and play a little aggressive. Play your game. You're here because you deserve to be in the NBA. LeBron will be back. Just do your job.
And there's still plenty inside that locker room. We all know that, to get the job done. Rob, it's really hard to not want to turn to your second superstar, Anthony Davis, in this case. We know what the numbers look like. We always talk about it, and I feel like you're always the one that has to talk about it. You need more from him. But from a guy who's not initiating the offense, how does he get it done?
AD has been here, 3 years? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't at media day when his first time on campus. I'm calling it campus. What's the first thing out of his mouth? He said he wanted to be Defensive Player of the Year. I haven't heard that from him yet. Mm-hmm. And for me, if you want to start somewhere, it starts on defense. Be that guy again, so you want to be the Defensive Player of the Year, and put your mindset right. Better yet, let me scratch that. Say I want to be MVP of the league. Steph, Ja, move back because this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you I can do it on both ends. I'm going to play good defense. I'm going to play good offense. I'm going to go inside, work inside out. It's all the little things that AD is doing, but he needs to do more of them. I know when you're the big dog, I used to tell Shaq all the time, you make all the money, you do all the little things. You got to do everything to make it successful. And AD, it starts with him. I know everybody wants to say it starts with LeBron. In my mindset, it doesn't start with LeBron. It starts with AD. We need you to get back to that mindset where you want to be Defensive Player of the Year. Now, do a double up. Be MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Be the guy that we brought you in for to dominate all over the floor. Yeah.
Which is exactly what he did against the Spurs in that first meeting. 35, 17, and 4. Big.
And he's at that point where I think he knows he should be the leader, but he's still not sure yet. It's a tender age. And Rob, you're right. I think he should verbalize. And when you verbalize it, you have to be it every night. So you can tell he wants to lead. I love what he said in his last interview about how they played, how honest they were. That's the start.
Yep.
And I hope he can continue.
It was a horror show on Friday, but the third quarter has been a nightmare for the Lakers all season long. They're allowing over 31 points per game in the third, worst in the NBA. Opponents shoot 50% from the field, 41% from three in the third, and the Lakers are allowing 14 points in the paint on average in the third. Those are all in the bottom 5 in the league. It doesn't matter how great you are on offense if your defense is like that. Now for more on the third quarter, that is not the charm. Let's go back to Staples Center and join Brez. Any way you can find a positive from the third on Friday, Brez?
Yes, let's not talk about it.
Oh.
Yeah, obviously
more.
a tough time. Yeah, that's one way to do it, right? That's bad TV, though. So I'm going to try to fill in a few blanks there. You know, it's not unusual for a team, even a really good team, to allow 40 points in a quarter. It happens. Also not unusual for a team to score only 12 in the quarter. That happens, too. The bad news for the Lakers, double whammy the other night. Both things happen in one quarter. And, Allie, guys, the NBA started keeping stats back in 1951. That's how far back the quarterly stats go. We got some numbers for you here. That was the worst point differential for the Lakers in a quarter, in the third quarter in particular, in their entire history. Minus 28, that's a rough one. There's no doubt about it. Some other numbers there as well, as you can probably see right now. What do the Lakers have to do? That's kind of been the question throughout the last couple days, because it's been a problem season long. Not sure there's any solutions, although Frank Vogel, as we covered, kind of juggling that starting lineup, seeing if Carmelo Anthony adds to it a little bit. Maybe he helps them get off to a better start coming out of halftime for that third quarter. And again, THT, the big start tonight. Maybe he will be the part defensively to help the Lakers coming out of that locker room after halftime.
Do is one, point the finger. You know, it was you, it was you, it was you. You know, this play is you. Like, we got to stay together. We hate feeling this way. Obviously we lose. We're going to lose games. Everyone loses games. But doing it the right way, having the team actually beat us, not beating ourselves. And those are the frustrating ones, when we beat ourselves. Still fairly early. We still don't have all our guys back, but, we got enough guys to win basketball games. And, we got to continue to do what we do, play Lakers basketball. And some games we see it, some games we don't. We see it for a half, the other half we don't. We see it for 3 quarters and not 1 quarter. So we got to put a stretch of games where we're playing our style of basketball for 48 minutes and live with that result.
Our goal is to win a championship, and it's not going to be easy. Nobody's going to hand it to us. Nobody's going to say, hey, well, they got all these guys on the team. Let's not play hard. Every team is going to try to beat us and take us down. So during these moments where it seemed like it's disbelief, our character has to stay strong. Our mindset has to stay strong, and we got to keep moving forward. We can't allow, these, games like this to change us, change who we are as players, and change what our goals are. We just got to stay locked in.
Yeah, Allie, Rob, James, I thought AD in particular, he was kind of fascinating the other night in his post-game comments. You heard him say there, hey, we're not going to point the finger at each other, but he also did say, hey, we are not playing championship caliber basketball right now. He was obviously very irritated by that third quarter, as were all the Lakers the other night against Minnesota.
I think even everyone here inside the studio, as AD said, we have to decide who we want to be, and I don't think any of us want to see them be the team that they were on Friday. Brez, well done. As always, we will see you coming up later in the show. With that said, guys, it's time for Access 360, brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.
Good times.
Indeed. And Rob, we just heard AD say we have to figure out how to play championship basketball for 48 minutes. Why haven't they been able to?
Sometimes you just got to roll up your sleeves and get back at it again. But I'm going to show you why they're not rolling up their sleeves and doing the thing they're supposed to do sometimes on the court. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But right here, you got to have great defensive possession. This is what happens in the first quarter. But you got to have the same energy in the first quarter as you do in the third quarter. Right here, this is a good possession by Bazemore. Bazemore sees that gap. He shoots the gap and get in front of Edwards. We all know Edwards just came off with a 40-point game. So we locked in on Edwards in the first quarter because it's fresh on our mind. Right there, you get good defense, a good shot block by Davis. Now we're off to the races. Now here's the problem. Now Edwards has the ball. Freeze it for me, please. Freeze it. Now everybody on the court is looking at Edwards. Edwards, you were keyed in on in the first quarter, but look, nobody's even pointing at him. You got a little point by Rondo, but nobody's going to him. Now you can play it, run it for me. Now look at Carmelo back here. This is the part. Carmelo, he's in no man's land. We got three guys looking at the most dynamic guy on their team. Nobody goes to him to contest, but here's the other big problem I have. Nobody box out. Carmelo's nowhere. Look at my man, Monk. Come on, Monk. We don't do that in the SEC. You don't box out. You could have gave that bucket to any one of those guys. That's not acceptable. Now here, this is a bad offense. Please freeze it again for me. Carmelo, we all know you are hot, and when you're feeling good, sometimes you take some shots, but you got Cat on you. We know you're a little bit older, but go around Cat. He's 7 feet tall. Run it, please, run it. Now, you're going to take this shot. Carmelo, you ain't Carmelo from just fresh out of Syracuse. You Carmelo 30 years into the league. You don't have that escapability with the ball anymore. Taking a bad shot. Hey, but I want everybody at home, if you at home, rewind that. Where was AD in this picture? He never crossed half court because we knew Carmelo was going to take that shot, but you still got to get down and run some good offense. That's just not acceptable. You cannot have bad offense and bad defense. That leads to what Brez just talked about, 40 and 12 in the third.
And to quote AD, he said it was embarrassing and there was absolutely zero effort to what you just broke down very well in that third quarter. Good job, Rob. To hit the point even harder, big game. If anyone is missing what we're talking about right now, the Lakers are the worst team when it comes to the third quarter in the NBA so far this season. If you were a player, they're being outscored by 6.5 points every third quarter this year. If you were a player, how would you make sure that that does not happen moving forward?
Well, sometimes you have to have a meeting of the minds. You know, sometimes throughout the season, and this is one of those times where it's just the players. No coaches, no video, nothing about X's and O's, just a conversation about, hey, guys, we're better than this. And we have to start paying attention to the details. That's where it starts. It starts with the leadership, verbalizing it, and you know they can do it. So halftime has been a problem. I don't know what they do, whether they, relax too much, or I don't know how they get ready for the third quarter, but that's a problem for them. So again, they got to verbalize that. And I'm sure they do. I'm sure they say, all right, let's go. Let's get going. Third quarter. That hasn't been good enough. They have to individually decide, and someone's got to do it. I don't know. Rob might have did it when he was with the Lakers. Might have been Fish, Fox. I don't know. But there was always some type of communication. We cannot allow this to happen. And you have to come out as if it's the last 2 minutes of a game and you're down to, you're trying to, assassinate teams in the beginning of the third quarter. It's critical because some teams might quit and roll over. You give a team, an opportunity, especially a young team, then you got to fight on your hand. Your ultimate goal is to not be playing as many minutes in the fourth. And that's the game you have to play. It's a game you play with yourself. And teams do it over and over. Look, we're killing them. We're up 10. Let's go up 20. Let's not give them a chance. And you spend those first 5 minutes playing as if it's a 7-game championship, and that's the mentality that they haven't gotten yet.
For us, I'll always remember, because when you come out at halftime, you don't come out together as a team. You do at the beginning of the game. But we will meet in the middle. We'll be like, yo, third quarter is where it happened. And I will always chime in and say, hey, I don't want to play in the fourth quarter.
That's right.
And I would always say, listen, I'm dead serious. I want to rest tonight. So you